Tao Te Ching Chapter 2, The Dance of Yin and Yang. In the first chapter, Lao Tzu spoke of Tao, the mysterious way of life that is impossible to describe in words. Tao is the mysterious music of universal harmony, the music in whose rhyme everything finds its pulse. It is music of life. One can hear it or be deaf to it. And just as a deaf person cannot understand the meaning of sound through words, so the truth of Tao is beyond any language. We can feel the magic of music. We can dissolve in a dance, but all attempts to describe it will be futile. When it comes to the description of Tao, don't cling to words. Look at what is hidden in between. Tao is ever present, but then where does deafness come from? Few would say that life is a harmonious melody. People know pain, poverty, death. Conflicts are everywhere. We all face them. But for Lao Tzu, conflicts are just a mind's trap we fall into because of our superficial look at the essence of things. Our knowledge is deceptive, as the mind by its nature is incapable of grasping the totality of life. The picture in the mind will always be fragmented and incomplete, full of conflicts and opposites. One who transcends the boundaries of the mind and perceives reality as it is, one who is able to free the mind from attachment to any concept, thoughts, and ideas, sees a completely different picture of nature and oneself. Here is how Lao Tzu describes it in the second passage of Tao Te Ching.
When someone names something beautiful, ugliness arises. When someone labels something as good, that which is not good is born. Being and not being give birth to each other. Great and small define each other. A difficult weight is not without an easy. Big depends on existence of tiny. Sound and silence are joined to music. Like winter and summer create the cycle of seasons. All opposites are intrinsically united. You cannot know one without knowing the other. That is why masters embrace everything with open mind and all-encompassing attention. They walk on the path of effortless action and attain perfect wisdom. When something happens, let it happen. When something goes away, let it go. When you do not hold by force, you have more. When you focus on the present, your action's perfect. Everything you need is now, right in front of you. Let go of control, and it will unfold rightly. Even within endless chaos exists harmony. It is always present. It cannot be lost.
It is important to understand why the mind can never grasp the true nature of reality. The basis of thought is language, words, abstractions, various symbols. In the process of creating a symbol, the mind divides the whole world into parts, like a person slicing a fruit in half with a knife. Together with the notion of left, simultaneously arises right as the opposite. Where the blade of the mind has passed, there remain two halves of something whole, two halves of the original totality of things that has no name. It's not a symbol or abstraction. Language forces us to give it a name, be it source, Tao, reality, God. Don't cling to words. it is impossible to grasp reality by thinking. The foundation of thinking is two polarities, a symbol and the symbol opposite to it. From those two notions, through further mental surgery, the mind creates the entire myriad of all possible symbols. Think of light. The mind has fragmented its nature into highlights and shadows, black and white, and then it has divided them again into billions gradations. But gradations in the mind are always finite, when in reality they are infinite. The mind is a blade that divides reality into parts, and it is not a coincidence that the expression sharp mind serves as a complement for a skillful, deep-thinking intellect. The mind is a useful tool in everyday tasks, but it is useless if you want to penetrate the mysterious nature of things. Blade can save life, it can take it away, but it can never understand it. As the dissecting human body may reveal some aspects of its functioning, but not the life that flows within it, life cannot be divided into parts without being destroyed.
When someone names something beautiful, ugliness arises. When someone labels something as good, that which is not good is born. Being and non-being give birth to each other. Great and small define each other. A difficult weight is not without an easy. Big depends on existence of tiny.
Trying to comprehend reality with the mind is like trying to face north and south simultaneously, or trying to walk forward and backward at the same time. The idea is doomed to fail from the start. But even if the mind cannot comprehend life, it doesn't mean that thinking, language, and symbols are useless. Thinking per se is a helpful tool. Mind is a biological computer designed by nature so that organisms could better adapt and could have more harmonious, even intimate, relationships with the world. Mind is a servant of life, not a master. As the Chinese proverb says, the right tool in the wrong hands does the wrong things. The conflict between humans and surrounding world, nature and other people arises from a simple fact. There is no awareness of the function of the mind, no understanding of how it works, and as a result, no understanding of where to use it and where its boundaries lie. Therefore, it is essential to realize opposites are merely a cognitive illusion. The mind and the world around are one. It is a unity. Lack of this understanding creates a mental image where the mind is separate from the source, and thus the world is perceived as hostile, alien. Self and the world become two parts of the whole that appear to be in conflict with each other in the mind. Out of mental division arises the concept of good and bad, beautiful or ugly, right and not right. It is a result of the mind's duality, work of the mental blade. A mind that does not aware of its actions springs the internal conflict, making person believe that one side can triumph over the other, that the hero should beat the villain, that order must dominate over chaos, that life is a battlefield and should be approached very seriously. If people start following these ideas, they become destructive to themselves and destructive to the world, which provides conditions for their existence. This cognitive bias in ancient China was called the illusion of opposites, Yin and Yang. The Yin Yang symbol reflects Lao Tzu's vision. It represents unity of Tao. However, when the mind looks at it, it perceives two halves, the black yin and the white yang, feminine and masculine aspects of existence. As we already saw, the mind always sees at least two. But what is perceived as two, in reality is one unified whole. There is no conflict between yin and yang, because one cannot exist without the other. A whole day includes both day and night. Night and day, two inseparable halves existing in harmony. In the same way, a whole life unites both life and death. For if life could not fade away, it would be taken for granted, becoming mundane. Thus, life values death, and death in turn treasures life. Death is yin, life is yang. Without each other, they would have no meaning. They are two sides of the same phenomena. Tao is the unity of all opposites. They support and complement each other. It is a harmony. Yin and Yang are not fighting, they are playing. Their movement is an endless transcendental dance that embraces everything. Ask yourself, is it possible for good to exist without evil? Can one be a hero without a villain to confront? One who tries hard for goodness will become a tyrant, an evil to be overthrown by the next transient hero. This is why people say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. There is no good where there is no evil. Those who comprehend the Tao are named masters or wise. They live with this and perceive everything around as if it were a play. For the master knows that God and devil are the same entity, hidden behind different masks.
Sounds and silence are joined to music. Like winter and summer creates a cycle of seasons. All opposites are intrinsically united. You cannot know one without knowing the other.
To make life easy, it's worth putting in some effort. Otherwise, the cold winter may prove harsh. But if one exalts labor and doesn't appreciate relaxation, life loses its joy and becomes unbearably difficult. To grasp the harmony of the universe, one needs to accept all its parts. Everything has its value and meaning. We understand what is good for us only because we know what is bad for us. This doesn't mean we should seek out the bad, but it's important to be able to accept it and learn its lesson. It's puzzling, but by trying to hide from negative experiences in life, we deprive ourselves of the opportunity to truly know the positive side. Like one who does not allow themselves to make mistakes, never learn anything new. To deprive a child of the chance to fall is essentially to deprive a child of the ability to run. A person who wants to feel only positive emotions will avoid their negative counterparts, such as sadness, anger, or anxiety. But those are inevitable in life, and while repressing them, a person wouldn't be able to channel their energy in the right direction, towards what they want to live for. Meaningful, fulfilling life. As a consequence, joy diminishes, and the amount of negative emotions grows, which eventually leads to problems with health and different kinds of mental disorders. All emotions matter and have their meaning. Suppress it, hold it back, and sooner or later a boiling point will be reached, resulting in an uncontrollable explosion, which will free up everything that was suppressed. Nothing can stand the flow of Tao. Better learn to ride with it. The purpose of the nervous system is to be in contact with the surrounding world. That is, to feel. Feel both the positive and the negative. Throughout life, it's important to be an unbiased observer, freely perceiving everything that is happening around. Pleasant and unpleasant are colors with which the mind paints some aspects of existence. And this doesn't mean that the mind should be suppressed, nor its processes of coloring reality should be interfered with. It simply means that one should always be aware of the bigger picture, containing a whole palette of colors, of the transcendent unity beyond the mind. With such awareness, the mind evolves and perfects on its own, like a tree that in the presence of the sunlight slowly reaches towards the sky.
That is why masters embrace everything with open mind and all-encompassing attention. They walk on the path of effortless action and attain perfect wisdom.
One could say that the master even rejoices in sadness, for they feel the rhyme of the universe, hear the music of Tao, in which everything pulsates. Joy transforms into sadness, then sadness into joy. From silence emerges sound, and sound gives way back to silence. As the night succeeds the day comes after the night. Wakefulness is replaced by sleep, and sleep by wakefulness. Life goes towards death, death towards life. Existence moves into non-existence, from which it had emerged. That is why the symbol of Tao, Yin and Yang, is drawn as little fishes, both carrying the seed of its sibling. They reflect each other. Black becomes the embodiment of white, and white becomes the embodiment of black. It is a unity in which nothing is truly in conflict or opposition with each other. Balance, acceptance, playfulness, and freedom are the soil from which true wisdom arises. Wise knows that in stillness lies the greatest energy. Therefore, there is no reason to rush and do things. Masters of Tao follow the way of nature, walking the path of least resistance. They listen to silence and allow water to be their teacher. When clouds are saturated to the limit, they release excess moisture in the form of rain. The rain transforms into stream, then runs towards a mountain lake, all without any effort. In the lake, the water finds rest before evaporating again, turning into cloud. It travels many miles and perfectly adapts every moment to new circumstances. Water does not resist nature, does not prevent transformation, is not attached to its past forms. It is free and playful, yet powerful and contains great energy. That is why Lao Tzu chose the word Tao to describe the mysterious way of life. It is the flow that does nothing, yet accomplishes everything. It creates stars, planets, oceans, infinite number of life forms, feelings, and dreams. Nature acts effortlessly, with the ease of the raindrop falling down from the sky. So Lao Tzu says, be like water and surrender yourself to the eternal flow of life, becoming one with the universe.
When something happens, let it happen. When something goes away, let it go. When you do not hold by force, you have more. When you focus on the present, your actions perfect. Everything you need is now, right in front of you. Let go of control, and it will unfold rightly. Even within endless chaos exists harmony. It is always present. It cannot be lost.
Everything in the present moment is in the right place and at the right time. The deeper the acceptance of the universe, the fewer conflicts one has with it. If you resist what is happening in the moment, your attention scatters and your energy is wasted for nothing. But if you let go of control and accept everything in life as it is, that same moment will show so many more opportunities to you. Like dark room reveals what is hidden in it when the lights are turned on. Imagine the pianist, having forgotten the notes in the middle of performance, he freezes in confusion and starts apologizing to the audience. And imagine another pianist who, forgetting the melody, instantly, without losing rhyme, moves into improvisation, playing the scale as he likes. Now tell, which piano concert would be more enjoyable and sincere? The freezing moment comes from the denial, from being too serious. Liveliness occurs when the unexpected is met with a smile and acceptance. This is why we say playing the piano rather than working on piano. Likewise, the liveliness in theater is determined not so much by the actor's ability to strictly follow the script and memorize character lines, but by the ability to fully immerse in the role and spontaneously adapt to what is happening during the scene, creating a feeling of authenticity for everything that unfolds on stage, even if it's not part of the original script. Acceptance, awareness, and sensitivity are far more important than rigid following of rules and ideologies. The wise knows that it is better to be flexible rather than rigid, for when a strong wind blows, the grass and trees bend its direction, thus avoiding their own destruction. If the grass decides to resist the wind, it perishes. Therefore, the wise cooperate with everything that happens in the moment. They don't worry about what has happened, because it has already happened. They don't worry about what might happen, because nothing yet has happened. When all the consciousness is centered in the present, people are able to perceive and accomplish much more. Tao is a tailwind found in every moment of life. Without wasting energy, everything is flowing with ease. In the Zen poem, it is said,
When there is too much, give it away. When there is too little, receive and accept. Always do what is possible now, and the most important things will be done. The path of abundance is incredibly simple. Do something, then forget the deed. Jump into the flow with an empty mind, and give chance for a chance to happen.
Zen masters passed on their wisdom in a very unusual way. They call it transmission of the lamp, a direct pointing to the truth, like a finger pointing at the moon, without relying on words and scriptures. While learning Zen, disciples lived for years alongside their master, living a simple, ordinary life, gradually absorbing the depths of the master's being, just as little ones absorb and learn to speak language without any lessons in schools. Then left behind only art, music, poetry, ikebana, the art of flower arrangement, tea ceremony, or martial arts like archery and kung fu. Then people also passed on stories to each other, tales about events that took place between a master and disciples. These stories were meant for us to meditate upon, so that we could penetrate their mysterious wisdom. Here is one of those stories. Sitting in the depths of the forest on a summer day, the old master was preparing tea and humming a tune. Beside her sat a young disciple, lost in his thoughts. A tense wrinkle appeared on his brow. Noticing this, the master asked, "You seem to be far away. What are you thinking about?" "Yesterday you said that the great is hidden in the small, and that small is actually immense," replied the disciple, and added, "I see it as a ship, which is smaller than the ocean, but has the power to cross it, right?" The master simply answered, "I see neither ship nor ocean here." And before the disciple could ask a question, she added with a smile, "Enough teachings for today. The tea is ready." They sat in quiet meditation, enjoying the aroma and taste of the tea. Suddenly, the disciple sprang up, took a stick, and drew 2 horizontal lines of different lengths on the ground. Then turned to the master and said, "Now, which one is long and which is short?" The master erased both lines from the ground, and in their place drew one, replying, "This one." At that moment, the disciple became enlightened.